Hello and welcome to Pyramid EduTech. This is our 10th video of CSS series. We already covered a lot of portions, so if you haven't watched that, first watch that before coming to this session. So let's start. We already have talked about something called selectors. So now we will see some more selectors. Today we're gonna see some more selectors. All right, so let me write some quotes. Then I will show you what I mean. So I take a div. Okay, inside my div, I take a UL, unordered list. Inside this, I take li. Okay, and I take two lists. And what I should do, I should write a para in this. Okay, inside this para, this is my para. So now you can see that I have a div, I have a list. Okay, I'll just remove this for now. Alright, you can see I have a div, I have an unordered list, and I have a list. Inside my list, I have my para. You can see the para is inside my list. So now you can see that P is a child, okay, of list and a descendant of div and UL. So if I apply, if I want to apply CSS to this para, but inside my div, okay, so what I should do, let me show you. If I write, let me go with the style. If I write div and if I write directly P here, okay, and if I give something called color red, okay, I haven't saved this for now, let me show you. Okay, you can see that this is my para, this is of black color, and you can see that I have written div and P and I have given color as red. Now if I save this and when I come here, you can see the color becomes red. Okay, you can see the paragraph color becomes red. This doesn't been affected here. Okay, so what do you mean by this? It means that if you want to access any para, any depth, inside any depth, okay, any depth means if I write para here also, if I write some para here also, you can see that if I write para here, so you can see para here also. If I come here, you can see that this para is also get affected. So you can you understood. It means that if you want to access any depth of para inside div, any para is in any depth. Doesn't mean that how much depth is gone. Okay, if it's in a div, inside a div, it will be affected. So you can say that if you write something called div and P, it will go deep inside it. Okay, it doesn't matter how much depth you have gone, it will be affected. So this is the first way of writing your selector. The other selector is your direct child. Okay, you understood this. So now we will see something called direct child. So if I write something called div, okay, div greater than sign and P, it means that it's a direct child. Now if I save this and if I come here, you will see nothing will be affected. Okay, why nothing will be affected? I just show you. Because you can see that P is not the direct child of div. This P is also not direct child of div. You can see it's child of UL. Okay, but instead of this, if I do this, and now if I save this, you can see that this para is direct child of this div. Okay, this paragraph is direct child of this div. Now if I save this and if I come here, you can see that this para is affected. Why? Because this is a direct child of this div. So if you want to access direct child of anything, you just have to write like div greater than and P. It means that it is the direct child of something. Okay, So if inside this, if I write instead of p, if I write something called ul, okay, and if I save this, it means that direct child of div will be ul. So you can see that this ul is direct child of this div. This means it will be affected. So now you can see that this is affected. You can see all of the color has been changed. Okay, so if you want to access the direct child, okay, if you want to access the direct child, you have to write something like this. Okay, so other thing is if you want to access the siblings, you understood that if you want to go inside depth inside anything, you just write div and p. If you want to access the direct child, you have to write the greater than sign. And if you want to affect the siblings, okay, if you want to affect the siblings, you should have to write something like div plus p. Okay, if I write something called div plus p, and if I save this, now you will see that nobody will get affected. Why? Because you can see here, this div, okay, doesn't have a sibling of p, okay, and you can see there is no div here. Okay, if I remove all of this for now, and what I should do, I should write something called, okay, inside div, or again give a div, okay, inside div I again give a div, okay, and in this I give ul, whatever you want, I give li. Okay, now you will see that I give a para here, okay, list para, okay. Now I come here, I again give a para here, I again give a para, outer list para, this is outer para, okay. Now can you tell me which para will be affected, either this one, or this one? Let's see. You can see that no one of the para has been affected. Just understand that this para, okay, this para are child of this ul, this li, and this div, this is a child. Okay, just understand the concept. This is a child, not a sibling. But what I should do is, I just take out this, and now I save this. Now you can see that this is on the same level. This div and this para is on the same level. If I save this for now, and if I come here, you can see that outer para has been affected, because this is now a sibling of this div. Okay, so if you want to affect the siblings, you just have to write plus sign. Plus represents the sibling. So if you want to affect the sibling, you directly have to write div plus p. I hope you understood all the concepts. Alright, now we will talk about something called nth child. Okay, nth child pseudo selectors, and that's a very important topic. Okay, so I remove all this for now, and let's start a new concept which is called nth child. Okay, nth child pseudo selector. So when we talk about something called nth child means that if you want to have a certain certainty that after this thing you want to repeat something, or after a certain interval of time you want to do something with that, so you can directly use nth child. So just understand that you have to go through all this concept before the live classes, because these all things will not be taught in live classes. We will directly access or directly do all these concepts. Okay, so you have to go through all these things. So now first let's do something. Let me create some body here. Okay, so I should write something called dot container. Okay, inside this container, let me go with a form. Don't worry about this, this is not that important. Okay, I'm just giving a class of form control if you want to apply any CSS in this. So this is input text, not input. All right. Okay, that looks good for now. So I'm just creating, okay, I'm creating a box in which input of type text like you have seen, I just show you. Something like this, enter text, enter password and submit button, okay. If you want, you can give some BR tag in this. If you want anything into new line. Okay, so now it looks good. Text, password and submit button. Okay, now what we can do, okay, let me create some UL. Inside there it should be li with class of item and ID of item dash dollar, and let me create 5 of this for now. All right, and yeah, I guess this is it. So what should I do is I can write something called yeah, it looks fine. Item 1 2 3 4 5. So I have created a list here. Okay, I just save this for now and I just show you what I have created. You can see a text box and you can see 5 items here. So let me create some CSS for it. So I just remove this and inside this I just create dot container. I'm just writing some CSS. You already know about all these things. Display block. Okay, width, let's go with 200 pixels. Okay, margin auto. I want everything inside. Margin auto. All right. Yeah, everything comes in between. So now what I should do, I should go with the input button. Okay, input is for my input. Okay, so I think we yeah, let's go with input. Okay, I just go with my input and with my type equals to text, I just show you what I'm doing. If I'm doing type equals to text, I'm just playing with the text button. Okay, and in there I should do something called okay what I should do, let me go with some padding. Okay, let me go with some padding of 12 pixels. I just want to show you what I'm doing. Okay, So now you can see that I have written type equals to text and I have given a padding. Now you will see that only the first one will be affected. You can see that only the first one. If I give margin also, only the first one will be affected. So if you want to target, something, okay, you can do it something like this, okay. This is one of the things that I want to show you. That's why I have created that. So you can see that if you want to target this this button, so you can do it like this, type equals to text. Instead of text, if I do something called password, you can see if I do something called password and if I save this, now you can see this, the password got affected. Exactly. So you can play with this, okay, you can play with this, you can create all this by yourself and you can play with this. So leave this for now. So let me create some more boxes here, okay. 5. So instead of 5, I go with 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I have created 10 box, okay. I have created 10 boxed. So if I now come here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, okay, I just kind of save this for now. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I have created 10 box, 10 items, 1, 2, 3, 4 times. Now what I should do, okay, I will use something called nth child, okay. So I just write something in style. We already understood about this concept. You can target things like this. Alright, so I just remove all these things for now. I just go with nth child. So I will write something called li, and I should write colon nth child, okay. So in this nth child, I write something called 2n, okay, and I give some color of red. Let's go with color red. And if I save this, now you will see that the second, okay, you can see that 2n means that every even part, okay, every even part will be affected with color of red. You can see second, fourth, sixth, 8th and 10th item. Okay, instead of 2n, if I write something called 2n plus 1, and now if I save this, okay, you can see that 1, 3, 5, 7, 9 will be affected. You can play with it, okay. Suppose you want only, I want only my 7th number, okay, I will just write 7 here. Only 7th one will be affected with red. So if I write 7 and if I save this, you can see that only the 7th one will be affected, rest are same, okay. You can do it with anyone, okay. If I write 4, you can see 4th one will be affected. So here you can use this and you can do some property, okay. I just show you, okay. You can write something called border 2 pixel solid black, okay. So you can give some padding. So you can target individually items, okay. You can target individually them, okay. You can see that now I have created a box, I have created a padding here. So you can see I have individually target this element. So with nth child, you can individually target all these things, okay. So we have something called odd child and even child also. So if I, instead of 4, if I write something called odd child, just write something called odd here, okay. So only the odd one will be affected. You can see that only the odd one will be affected. And instead of odd, if I write something called even, so now you will see that only the even one will be affected, 2, 4, 6, 8. So this is how you're gonna play with your nth child, and this is it for the nth child. I hope you understood about the concept of nth child. It is very easy, okay. You just have to go with the nth child and just have to play with it. Now let me show you something called before and after pseudo-selector, okay. So we understood about the pseudo-selector concepts. Now let me show you, talk about something called before and after pseudo-selectors, and this is also an important topic for us. So I think this should be clear for you. You just play with it, okay. And if you want to know more about it, just read the documentation and go through it, okay. Just go through it. Now when we talk about something called before and after pseudo selectors, okay, when we talk about something called before and after pseudo selectors, we need to understand that the double colon, okay, double colon is used for before writing before and after pseudo selectors. Before means anything you have to do before it, means before any element. If you want to do anything, just write double colon and just write before. And if you want to do after, just write double colon and just write after. This means that if you write something called before, it will be affected before, and if you write something called after, it will be affected after that. I know if if you don't understand, don't worry. When we do some codes, you will understand all these things. Okay. So okay, let me do some stuffs. So we already know about how to create a navbar. We already have seen that. So yeah, we will use something called navbar. We will create some navbar and we will do some stuffs in that. Okay. So let me remove all these things for now. Okay. So this should be before and after pseudo selector. Okay. So first let me create a header here. Let me create a header. Inside my header there should be nav. Okay, nav with a class of navbar. Okay. Inside this I go with my unordered list with a class of navigation. Okay, and there should be li. Inside this there should be li of class item. Okay, and I should create 4 of them. Alright, so you can see that I have a header. Okay, and I have inside that I have a class nav with a class of navbar. Inside that I have a ul of class of navigation, and I have a list of class item. So let me create something called home, about, I'm just writing all these things, contact. Okay, and we got something called service. Okay, so now if I come here, you can see that, okay, home, alright, I just have to remove this for now. We already understood all these concepts, so I don't think we will need all these things for now. So now you will see that folder list, home, about, contact and service. So we will create some navigation. So let me write something called section. So inside this, see, only not selectors, but also there's some this is headers, nav, sections, these all things. Okay, you will understand all these things, but these all are things that we already have seen in our HTML portion. We already know about all these things, so that those are things are repeating here. So if you don't understood all this concept, just go back and just see all semantic tags in HTML, that what are all our semantic tags, what is header, what is footer, what is aside, what is section. So if you don't have any idea about it, just go back and just watch the previous lectures. Alright, so let me write some codes for that. Okay, so I just write some section here. Okay, I just let me write some section after header. Let me create a section here. Inside this section, I just write h3. Okay, inside h3, welcome to py edutech. Okay, and after this h3, I should write a para here with lorem 23. I'm just writing random stuffs. Don't worry about this. Okay, so I have a h3 and I have a paragraph here, and after this, okay, we already know we already have done all these things. So now let's see how it looks. Yeah, it looks fine. Okay, so this gonna be your nav bar. This is your content inside this nav bar. So let me come here in this style portion. Okay, in this style portion, okay, I just write something. I go with navigation here. So inside this navigation, I should write something called display flex. Okay, and if I save this, now you will see that it will come side by side. Alright, so I write something called, we already know all these things, list style none, to remove those bullet points. Now it looks good. And what we can do, we can give some margin here. Let's go with 12 pixels. I'm just writing some random stuffs. Now you can see that, okay, no, not margin, I'm sorry. Margin, okay, margin we have to give in list, not here. We have to give in list. This item, list. So now we just write something called dot item here. Inside this, I just give some margin. Okay, margin of, let's go with 12 pixels, so that it's going to be side by side. Yeah, it's going to be side by side. So if you want, you can give some background color too. If you want, you can give some background color. I'm just randomly giving any background color. Okay, you can see a background color. If you can't able to see, just darken the color. Now you can see the background color. Okay, you can just play with this. Okay, you can light or you can dark, whatever you color you want to give, you can give this. Okay, so we already have given navigation styles. Okay, item also. All right, so now what I should do, okay, I just come here, what I should do, let's go with header. Okay, I just want to show you. Okay, I just we already have done all these things. Now let's go with the header. I just go with the header. So inside this header, I write something called before. Okay, and before, if I write some content, okay, if I write some content, and in this content, if I write hello before, and if I save this, you will see hello before will come before this. Okay, and instead of before, if I write after, and if I save this, now you will see that hello before will come after this. Okay, so you understood. If you want to put something before, you just write before. If you want to put something after, you just use after. Okay, so I just remove this. So if you want to apply before and after some CSS property, you have to empty the content. Okay, this is a way of writing. You have to write empty content, means you don't want any content in this. Okay, we don't want any content in this. Okay, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna use something called background here. Okay, let's go with background, and background, or you can say background image. I'm just writing some URL. Let's go and use some random images. Okay, random background images. Okay, let's go with this one. Okay, copy image address, copy image link. All right, let's come here and let's put this. Okay, now you can see that I put the background image URL. Now if I save this, now what you will see is, okay, let me show you. Okay, now background here, this one, I just have to write something called position absolute. Position We already have talked about all these things. If you don't have any idea, just go before and watch all those things. So that it will take parents. Okay, we already know that absolute takes the parent. Okay, absolute take the parent, because currently it's in the scope of that header. Now it's taking the body part. Okay, it's now taking from the body. Okay, I just write something called width 100%. 100%. Okay, and height also, let me go with 100% only. Okay, and now if I save this, if I come here, now you can see that the whole is taken here. What happened is that the nav bar is there, but it is behind this. So for coming before, what you need to do, you need to use something called g index. We already know about this. So I just write -1, g index of -1. So if I write g index of -1, you can see all these things, all this content. Okay, okay, let me give color of white here. Okay, so I just give in this item, I give some, no, not for item, for this section. Okay, for this para. Okay, so section, I have to come here, dot section, color of white, so that it looks visible. Okay, wait, no, not dot section, it's only section, it's not a class. Yeah, now you can see all these things, all this content. All right, so now one thing I do, I write something called top 0. I want to stick all these things, left 0, and if I save this, it will stuck above. Yeah, it will. But earlier it was gap and it looks good. So now you can see that it looks quite good. So you understood about the concept of before and after. I just used before, I just use position absolute so that it takes parent. I just gives g index of -1 so that I can put background behind that, and I just have put top 0, left 0. So if you want to decrease its opacity, you can use something called opacity. Let me go with an opacity of 0.4. Let's see how it looks. It looks good. 0.8. So opacity just for your, okay, now it looks good. So you can increase or decrease your opacity as per your website looks. So this is how you're gonna play with all these things. So this is all about your concepts of pseudo-selectors. So we have discussed all of the things, nth child, before and after pseudo-selectors. So just go through it once. If you have any doubt, you can ask in the comment sections, or you can just come in the live class and ask all your doubts, whatever you have. Thank you for watching. See you next time.